So guys, we're gonna start. That's our first episode in such format. Basically, this year we're celebrating 10 years of the CTOcast podcast. Sergey got an idea, so let's make a new format. Let's make it video. I never did video, so we're doing that for the first time. That's why, we might have some hiccups, but we'll try to do our best. Now we do the same. We do streaming now on Blin Queen Instagram account in the parallel. We're doing the recording, so in a week or so there will be video on YouTube channel as well. So subscribe. In this format, we're gonna meet in Blin Queen each week on Tuesday, until we're friends at least, right? And next Tuesday guest I will announce tomorrow in Instagram. So follow that. We already have guests for the whole February, every Tuesday. Now we are looking for guests for March. So if you know interesting people, shout out, right? Let me know, or let Sergey know on the Blin Queen Instagram, and we will try to bring more interesting people starting from March.
Yep.
You wanted to say something?
No, that's basically it. So the idea is that we want to extend the place really, from just a place where you can have food and drinks and talk to each other, to a place where you can also spend time and learn something new and meet some new people as well. And this is our attempt to extend towards a bit more community driven restaurant we are doing this as a pilot today.
It sounds like you didn't prepare the whole.
No, I did. But there will be more guests coming in, and we are trying to look for people who really have a lot to say, who have something that they've done in their life that is actually interesting and would be interesting for the rest of our community. Stay tuned. We will be publishing the agenda tomorrow for the next month. But for tonight, I'm going to be the first guest.
So it's a pilot, right? That's why Sergey volunteered to be the first. Okay, so let's kick it off. We know each other for quite some time, so we will not pretend that you're like guests whom I don't know.
Yeah.
And we used to work together in the corporate world. Completely different setup, right? Completely different kind of discussions. And when you left this world and you announced basically that you're going to open the restaurant, I heard some voices around that it was some kind of downshifting. From another side, I heard other voices who've been saying, okay, Sasha, but it sounds like a more liberating stuff, right? So he probably pursuing his dream and he's doing something what you, like me, cannot afford to do. Like I have to stay in the corporate world. And I'm wondering how does it look from your side? How did it look? What is that, like 2 years ago, right? Or how did it look back then for yourself?
A little bit more. So I really can't figure it out still. I do think that for me the change in my career was actually up rather than down. In a way that is more challenging work, and it's more complexity in this work, and it's your own stuff rather than you work for someone, right? And you have a little playground in your team and the colleagues and stuff like that, but you still feel like you're in a little bit of like a swimming pool, and now I feel like I'm a little bit in the open sea with sharks and everything. So in my opinion, that is not downshifting per se. Downshifting would be, I don't know, making furniture, chairs, or I really don't know, origami, but I mean this is fucking hard work. This is really not a downshifting, and the complexity is huge. So I would say it's a more challenging stuff, and I'm definitely way further from retirement than I ever was, including the corporate times.
So you're gonna get back. Okay, let's put it aside, right? So okay. It's not downshifting, so it's more liberating, right? But you also mentioned that you doing different stuff, and I can imagine that these lamps and these tables, everything was done by yourself, right? So you don't have like special team like in the big company. You have different people helping you around. You have no idea how you're getting money, right? It's everything just magically happening, right?
Yeah.
Now you're doing everything yourself.
Yeah.
Wearing different hats. I used to have my small businesses like 10 years ago, and I remember when you're in that. Then that was about me. I was losing creativity. So everything was piling up on me. I need to fix this, I need to fix this, I need to fix that. And the most important part, how to make this thing interesting. So people come in and you have the full house today, right? So
I know most of them.
so that's the last time that
Kinda,
we
yeah.
have the full house.
I think
right?
it's a favor in a way. But I also see some people that like I don't know, and that's really nice of you guys. So all of you guys who I really have never seen here before and who've never seen me. Thank you very much for coming tonight. Means a lot for us.
We're not saying goodbye yet, right?
Not yet.
Because it sounds like that, right? So I'm doing comedy today, just in case, not you, right? So, and so the question is how you are not losing this spirit of creativity, being like having all these troubles. We'll discuss troubles a little bit later, right? But like how you keep up with creativity. Maybe it's not you.
I wouldn't say that it's harder than in the corporate job, really, because there the routine is way more established than here. I would say here something new blows up every day, and like we have people who can't go out for the shift. We have I don't know, the plumbing that suddenly just explodes. We have the suppliers. We have actually the management of our financial stuff and all of those things. They like every day you got a lot of distractions and a lot of things that's just happening accidentally, and in that sense I think it's harder to stay focused and to stay on your routine, actually, to finish something when you started it, because you always have those little distractions. In a way, I'm trying to get back to routine right now with all the things like just happening around. While I think what you're asking is, do I have problems with fun stuff happening? The fun stuff happening here like every day, and it's actually happening even at night. So in that sense, I have no problem. But we have a problem of trying to stand up and just have a different level of view of perspective of how the business is running. This is a huge problem because I'm so focused on how I'm making cappuccinos. You can't really think about development. You're so focused on whether every day we're actually giving a nice cup of coffee to people who come here, or whether we disappoint certain amount of people. So all those things they basically taking all of your attention, and in that sense, I think the challenge is really to stay focused and to develop sort of routine that can give you some productivity.
Okay. But you're not doing that alone, right? You basically opened this place not alone, right? But together with
my wife.
With your wife?
Yep.
And can you if we get back in the beginning or even before the beginning, right? So you're working in the big corporate world.
Yep.
Suits, all stuff, right?
Yeah,
so,
good watches.
Good watches, not in your case, but people usually do have it. Yeah, so there and you eventually deciding to do that, right?
Yeah.
So how does
it happen? Well, it is a story of the marriage, of love, of willing to do something together, and that something is born out of the relationship, actually. So indeed, yes, I moved to Amsterdam in 2014 as first an engineer for the mobile applications, and then you pretty much know the career, but I will just tell everybody that I'm a mathematician and the engineer as a background. So I moved as an engineer, software engineer. I then started doing more of the project management and ended up doing the business like you're doing right now. And then I met my wife, and she's not here tonight, and that's really sad because
she's there. I've checked Instagram. Right?
Well, we should say hi to her because basically I'm representing only half of this team. Actually, 1/3 because we also have a baby, and he's doing a lot as well.
But it's impediment. I'm sorry.
We can't say that out of 3 of us, he's probably less focused right now. And he's definitely more creative than us. But yes, we started this place with Dasha, and the idea came when she moved to Amsterdam. It was a few years ago, and right at the start of the pandemic, we suddenly realized...
Decided to open a restaurant. Just brilliant, yeah.
That's actually true. We decided that we're going to open the restaurant right in the middle of the lockdown when everything was closing down, and we didn't have place where we can go for lunch. So we started making food at home on the weekends. And Dasha, my wife, she actually came up with this recipe of the pancake that they have in her family. And I was coming up with all kind of creative combinations that we can actually put in or on top of the pancake. And we would be spending like the whole Sunday making them and eating them. After a few weekends, we just ended up understanding that we really like it a lot. And then we thought, well, maybe that's because this is the food that we know from since we were kids. And we need to really try with the local, with the Dutchies, with the expats, and just, invite them over for brunch and see if they like the food the way the same way that we do. And they all said it was really nice. And I think they all lied. But back then they all said it was really good. So we decided we will do the small food truck.
That was a good lean approach to start, not
so
fully fledged restaurant, right?
Exactly. The whole idea was that we start small. We start like a startup. We take a really small investment and we find some food truck and we put the like the little stove top for the pancakes, and we start making.
To Amsterdam Zuid, closer to the big buildings.
Wandel Park. That was. We used to live back near the Wandel Park, and we thought, well, it's a really nice place. It's a really good park, and we want a food truck, and we want to put it there. And we defined the initial investment. It was 10 times less than we eventually ended up spending, but it was like just an amount for food truck and for some licenses, not a big amount. We could have afforded this without going all in.
You can tell your numbers now. It just for us.
The initial budget was 20,000 euro.
20,000 euro. Okay.
Yeah. So and then we started dealing with the Dutch bureaucracy and the whole licensing system.
Never heard.
Yeah. And people in the municipality told us that the only place where we could put our food truck, they were very polite, by the way. And I think they even laughed a little bit when we said Wandel Park. But then they said, well, the only place where you can actually do that is going to be like in the north. And it's going to be like in the middle of nowhere, the outskirts of the city. That's where we can put our food truck. There is nothing out there.
Like right?
We went there, we checked. Okay. There's literally nothing there. And they said, you can put your food truck over there and we will give you the license. No other place in Amsterdam. And we've been seeing these hot dog trucks in Wandel Park every day.
That's corruption, man.
I think so.
Yeah.
But and they said, no way. So we started looking for a bigger place and but still a small place. Trying to think about takeaway. It was Corona, right? So we said we're gonna be smart. We're gonna invest when everybody else is basically quitting. So therefore, we will have a chance to find a nice place at a reasonable amount of money, which is not possible in normal times in Amsterdam. But there was no small place either. And eventually, when we found this place, it was all in. So we would spend, I think, even during the pandemic, we spent about 5 months searching. And then this place came up and it was completely unrenovated. It was just after the big capital renovation with the foundation placed. And the amount of investment, as I said, it was approximately the order of magnitude bigger than we initially planned for.
So it was 20 and it became
200.
200. It's a little bit more. Yeah.
Eventually, right? So it's it was like after it's not you need to do this straight away, but after 5-6 months, like the total opening came to this number. We just decided to do all in. Like we just decided we're gonna try it all. And frankly speaking, I think
so far it's very sad. So far it's
no.
No. Okay, so you opened. It's still Corona.
Yeah.
Nobody coming. Right?
Yeah.
So you did deliver or what's it?
So we did it on purpose. We thought.
And you already left your job, so you're jobless.
Yeah.
Dash is also jobless, right?
Yeah.
So very nice. Okay.
I didn't still sell all the stock and everything, but I knew that I would have to do that and just completely say goodbye to all.
Just to understand for myself, how old is your baby now?
He's gonna turn 1 year on 6th of February.
So approximately at that time, when you have 200k debt,
you
had some time for
having sex?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So.
We tend to run multiple projects in parallel in our family, and I mean.
Okay, so you open up, No customers because Corona delivery.
Yep.
But now it's
We
now
actually
it's
had
getting,
to. We
now
had
it's
to
better, so
do.
just
We
do
had
it.
to do. We had to do a lot of work ourselves here at the bar with me and Dasha. She was early in her pregnancy. She had severe intoxication.
Do we need these details? Just bon appetit, everybody. I'm sorry. Okay, yes.
Yeah, sorry. But we still were pulling like double shifts almost every day, like morning and evening. It was like complete startup mode.
So I don't know. I'm just looking to the people. I see the tip's gonna be high. But
No, we're
but
not-
the mood low, right? So
Okay, well, fair enough. But this is the reality, really. And when we were
Okay.
starting this business, we had a lot of people who were experienced in this business, and they were telling us, "Don't do this." You were among them, yeah. But frankly speaking, I think it's at some point in your life you can actually substitute a little bit of this financial stability and comfort, because I felt really comfortable in my previous job.
I remember.
Yeah, and you want to do something that doesn't make you question yourself in the evening, like, what did I do today? Like, was it really nice?
So
or not?
it was more romantic than pragmatic decision. Right?
Completely. Yeah. I mean, everybody has this dream. Let's open the cafe. When we're gonna go old, we just open a coffee place,
And
right?
all my friends gonna come every Saturday. Never, right? So
Well, no,
yeah, from
actually.
time to time, yeah.
Yeah, friends are coming. And we just decided to pull it off. We had some, like...
And
we
you
had-
imagine like in France, everybody getting together.
Yeah. We had all of those stupid stereotypic thinking about what's going to happen when I'm going to open the cafe. We even had a business plan that actually showed that we're going to be extremely profitable.
By now.
Well, no, way earlier actually. Yeah. A couple of months it was, I think. And then we would be making hell of money actually.
Shit.
We
man.
calculated we need to have 5 tables always busy.
Yeah.
And then we're just going to be like, yeah.
All right, it didn't happen at the end, but now you feel more or less good, right? So you
I feel way more satisfied.
yeah,
I feel way more light on money.
like less money, it's more.
It's liberating, actually. That's what you were
It's-
talking about. Yeah, for sure. But I feel way more satisfied with my current life. That's definitely true.
All right, good.
Yeah.
Now let's make a shift a little bit to technology also.
Sure.
Right? So I remember that some time ago when I came to you, one of the ideas you had, and I would not say that's something surprising, that you want to have something custom, like a platform for restaurant
Yeah.
management. Is it something what you brought from the previous life, right? So that you cannot just focus on the, I don't know, cuisine, but you also try to automate everything around you, right? And where did you end up?
Well, you know that I've never had an engineering mindset, like strictly speaking, right? I'm way more into dealing with people than dealing with the code or machines or technology. That being said, I think in 2020, which year is it? 23?
It's
23. And even last year, I think it was also true. You have more success opening the restaurant if you know technology than if you know how to cook.
Okay, explain. Not obvious.
Very simple. So the industry is actually dying from low margins and extremely high labor cost. So if you think about it, that's the first place where people from consulting companies should be going and actually helping to save on the...
But you said low margin. For consulting companies, there is no enough
This
margin.
is the red flag.
Yeah,
So
that's
this is
right, yeah.
essentially the controversial part about it. There is so much that you can actually optimize
Yeah.
to be able to invest more in your food, in your clients, in your team, and you can't do that because you have to run like a headless chicken all the time, checking if you have enough salmon in the kitchen. And the whole industry works like that. So if you are a restaurant of, let's say, less than 50 seats, and we are, and this is just one place, you don't have like 50 places, you're not McDonald's or anything, the amount of money that you have to spend on useless stuff, mostly the time and labor, is just tremendous. And the technology can help, but then on the other side, you don't have money to afford this automation. And therefore, you don't do that. You
So
just
it's a
focus.
deadlock.
Exactly, and we want to break this basically this evil loop, and that's why when I came in, I started looking for a software that can actually help us automate those things that are hugely inefficient. Like I said, you need to run to the kitchen and check if we have enough salmon left. You have a supplier who can bring you salmon, 10 kilos. You have a pancake with a salmon, and wherever you put there. 200 grams, of course, we put less, but let's say you sold 10 pancakes and you still have to run to the kitchen and check whether they have something left. And if they don't, that always comes as a surprise. And you need to run to your supplier or call your supplier, and that's the extra cost for logistics, so that they come and bring you another part of salmon. And during that time, you will disappoint your guests because you don't have salmon in stock. And there will be still time that you need to, we do a little bit of advertisement here.
Yeah.
We do we cure salmon ourselves, so it takes about 20
whatever
20,
it means.
Yeah. So it takes about 24 hours. They bring the fresh fish here. It takes about 24 hours till it's ready. So, and we're not alone like in this. A lot of people are making way more complex food than we do. They all suffer from this, and they don't have time. And as you said, there's so much into this in the trenches. They don't have time to think about how do I solve this problem systematically. So we started trying to solve this problem and the other problems that exist in this industry. We don't have a budget for this, but we have a little bit of people here who can do some stuff.
Yeah.
And we are trying to automate some of those things. We started with mostly focusing on the shift management, salaries, how do you manage the time of your team, how do you manage because this is the biggest cost component for this business. And we build a system because we didn't find any on the market. And we will extend now building the point of sale and connecting the suppliers management system as well. So therefore, there is a startup in parallel with the cafe
happening right now,
that we actually have a lot of hopes in as well, because we think it can help other people as well.
I know one success story like that. There is a guy, his name David Young, if you know him.
Yeah, heard.
So you inspired maybe a little bit about his story. It's the guy who started company Abby, for some of you guys who same age of me as me, right? So before Google Translate, there have been some local translators.
I actually think
I just wanted to say, so this guy, he opens restaurant, and after opening restaurant, basically launched the platform to manage restaurants.
Yeah, that's the idea. I don't know whether I'm inspired by him or not. I think we're just coming from the necessity. We need to do that, or we will not be able to compete in the space that we chose for our place. Mm-hmm. And this is not the easy, let's say, targeting that we have for our place. So in a way, we have even harder problem to solve than the rest of the guys in our category. And therefore, I can't say I was inspired by him, but when I figured that we need to start this startup and we need to build this platform, I kind of laughed a little bit because I remembered about the other bold guy who started selling books and ended up basically having most of the profits in the company. Yeah, coming from the cloud. Building a cloud platform, and I think that's the way that traditional business should operate in this era, in this day and age.
We're just talking about Jeff Bezos, just in case. Right?
Yeah. We were talking about Amazon, but we're not trying to be like, okay, maybe, not right now. But I think that's a similar kind of trajectory. I don't know whether we're going to go to space, maybe.
Speaking about space and the future, while we're in this topic, can we now just brainstorm and make some fantasy? How do you imagine the restaurant, in 20 years from now? What you imagine, a future-proof restaurant, how it will look in the future, right? It's not only about.
That's the restaurant, though, right?
That's the live stream, and now even on the final video, it's gonna be there as well, right? So let's just make some fantasy. What kind of technology should be in the restaurant in the future, right? And one of the examples, which is quite creepy and weird, right? In a couple of restaurants, maybe in a few, I've seen this, these delivery robots, vacuum cleaner robots, but robots which deliver food to the table, right? Did you see that, guys, in the room? I believe I don't know. It's a little bit creepy, but
it is creepy. I even think that the screens where you can order food are creepy. I also think
Like
that
McDonald's.
yeah, well, a lot of people are doing that right now, but I think the QR codes where you can order with your phone, even
Also-
that is a little bit.
Yeah,
Too
so
much.
you're losing. That's
You're losing the
that's-
magic because I think
Yeah.
when we are thinking about why the people come here, they don't really come for food, strictly speaking.
I thought you wanted for free, for food. Yeah.
And they don't come for free, never. Well, the way you interact with people when you go to a public place, in my opinion, is more valuable than what you have on on your plate, or at least equally valuable.
I would argue, but yeah.
I would say maybe it's 50-50. But in my opinion, people go to restaurants not just for food, and when we speak to our guests about like the way we do stuff here, what we hear a lot is we like the atmosphere, we like the way that people talk to us, we like that we feel ourselves guests in someone's home, and that's exactly the well, let's say the template that we are using when we are speaking with our team. We're saying, well, like, think about people coming over to your home and you just cook something and you want to tell them what did you do. You want to make them feel comfortable. They're your guests. You're the host though, so you're the owner of this place.
Yeah.
They need to pay respect to the host. You need to pay respect to your guests, and you need to make them comfortable. Not because you serve them, not because you're there because the client is always right, because we don't think the customer is always right, to be honest.
Sorry, guys.
But we think that is our intention to make people comfortable here, as if they were guests in our own home, and people come for this.
So just to understand, if I understand you correctly, so everything what happens in this part of the restaurant, you don't see any innovation, because it should be old school. It's more about connecting to the people.
I think
right?
it's a mix.
That's why all these iPads to order food, or these screens, or these digital robotic guys who are delivering food feels creepy, because that's not what we expect from the restaurant.
So
right?
I think the technology.
Just to finish, right? So the whole innovation you think gonna happen on the back end, on the back office side, right? Is it correct?
Most of it, in my opinion, yeah.
Okay, then let's make some fantasy about the back end.
So I think the team should be supercharged with the modern technology.
Just speed. You're gonna squeeze all juices from it.
I'm gonna give no.
Okay.
You're gonna
trackers in the people.
You're gonna make their life easier with this, really. And yes, you need to track the stuff. You need, like, for instance, okay, I have an idea. We have a beacon under every table, and we have the Apple Watch on the hand of every person working here on the floor.
Yeah.
And when they bring the plate and then they put it on the table,
Yeah.
we know that the order was delivered to the table.
But you know they're gonna start cheating with empty plates,
All of that.
Yeah, okay.
But I'm just giving you an edge case example of where I would go. Will the guests see this? Not really.
So it should be invisible for them. That's
in my opinion,
yeah.
the whole magic of a restaurant, and that's for me.
Yeah.
We open the restaurant not because we know how to open the restaurant. We open the restaurant because we think we know what does it mean to feel nice in the restaurant as a guest.
Hedonism expert.
I don't know, maybe.
Yeah.
I think the whole magic is interaction with the other people, and then comes the food.
Instead of beacons, I was just thinking you can put a few cameras. You still have them, I believe, right? And do image recognition on the table, so it will be just a little bit more, one step further.
Yeah, could be.
All right, so and let's make some brainstorm ideas about the back office stuff, right? You said that it's okay. You need to have these systems, but I believe there possible some more automation, like fridge, which manages that. Not
Fridge.
Not you. Like where are you?
The salmon.
Like
Salmon example managed by Fridge.
by fridge, yes. So fridge understands how much salmon now in at the stock, right?
But
it orders from wherever you order, right? So
I think it's one step forward, even compared to what I'm thinking, and I think we're not even there where we have the system that understands that we don't have any salmon left. And in the system, it's easy. You just need to get the data from your point of sale and combine it with the data about how much stuff you ordered, and that's easy. It's really easy. If you're thinking about the fridge, this problem is actually, I think, is not solved even on the consumer market. and for good reason. I believe.
Because your market, you don't need it, maybe. Because there is no so big problem, right? It's problem here.
Could be, but I'm not even talking about. I think this is like the super advanced case. I don't think this industry needs that. This, even if we do 2 steps easier, it will be still a really valuable solution that majority of the venues don't have.
Yeah, at least maybe the logistics part, when food is being delivered to the door, it can be delivered by something automatic.
Yeah, when you can combine your orders as well.
Especially in the center of Amsterdam. I was parking, I don't know where, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Okay, any other crazy ideas about the technology about the restaurant?
So we think that the other problem in this industry is that the people cannot really build a career in this industry. They cannot, like most of the people who come to work here, they are in their early 20s.
And too late?
Yeah, well,
yeah.
You can do the downshifting thing. You can actually do 1 shift per week. You can combine with your corporate
That's
job.
a downshift, like 1 shift.
Yeah. So what we call it a labor therapy. So a lot of the people who come here, they are leaving by the time they are late 20s or 30s because they cannot really earn the money that would afford. They can make it for like a living for the family, for instance, or for the house. And this is a huge problem. And this problem is solved in corporate world, like in the McDonald's. Of course, you can just become a manager, and then you can become a manager of managers, and blah blah blah.
And vice president of all these managers.
Exactly. And then if you're doing something like 1 cafe, 2 cafes, you don't have a space to grow, and your people don't have a space to grow financially and career-wise. And I think this is the biggest problem as well in this industry.
I don't know. Maybe you already have some ideas how to solve that, but what I see now, like with all this gig economy, with all these delivery services. So basically, who is the delivery guy? It's like waiter, right? Who is just delivering it not to your home, but not to your table, right? So basically what you did in this case, you just outsourcing all delivery, like all waiters to some big company, and they can build careers there. But instead of building careers there, I heard that it's not the very pleasant place to work, right?
No, not at all. And therefore you won't have nice people there, and therefore the service will always suck. And they will never treat their clients, their people who they deliver the food to, the same way that they would treat you in a nice place when you come over. And that's one thing. Second thing is that technically they fulfill this mission. They bring the food to you. But as I said, I think the part of the restaurant is not about this. The restaurant is not about moving food from one place to another. And it's not just about consuming food.
Yeah.
I know I might sound a little bit like, but I feel that the restaurant is way more about the communication. And this is also one of the reasons why we wanted to make things like this thing, because we think that the guests that we have here, we want them to stay for a bit longer with us. We want them to
But you're closing at 11.
Yeah, well,
all right.
no.
So I just
so therefore, I don't think the delivery services will ever be a complete replacement for actually going.
I just brought it as an example when you're outsourcing something and people theoretically can build career in this bigger company, right? But maybe you have some ideas how to solve this problem with career.
Yeah.
Speak up.
We have the idea that we can actually combine the startup in technology and the startup in the restaurant branch.
Okay.
So my kind of a dream is that the same team that builds the platform for running the restaurant business can also work in the restaurant that is using the system, and they will therefore become the. Well, for instance, we have a barista who's going to be working 3 shifts per week as a barista,
and also JavaScript developer,
and 2 days as a JavaScript developer.
Any developer syndrome? Yeah, so we have some, right? So we can build a team.
Yeah, because the thing is, like, what do people in corporate struggle from? Anxiety. We don't know whether what we did was good or not. I had 15 meetings today. I don't really know what good
It's
did I
completely
do?
different for person who opened in the middle of Corona restaurant with two.
It is.
Completely
It is.
no anxiety at all.
It is because the gratitude and the satisfaction is genuine here, and the like the loop where you get your dopamine shot from what you did is actually really short.
I can get it with some chemistry software.
So we even had the case where like one of my friends who's working 5 days full time as a manager in the technology, he would be coming to help us on Saturday or Sunday, basically the busiest shift, just as a waiter. And he would leave completely fulfilled and happy, tired physically, but really happy.
Do you pay him?
Well, that's what I'm saying. And I mean, actually,
That's downshifting. That was a comment from.
yeah. I agree with that, and I think that's the proper way of doing downshifting. And I actually think that replaces a little bit of a therapist for those people. And I actually think we should start charging people for this rather than pay them.
I forgot how in English you called such people as that, like who are not paying money for work. And making people think that they need to feel better.
So the money will be paid, but not by us. That's the idea. So like because
guests.
Yeah, because they feel better. No, not by guests, but by the people who come to work here. Like you have your really well-paid corporate job, right?
Brilliant sales guy, right? So
5 days a week, you're just like, what am I doing? What am I doing? But it's paying well, and I have a mortgage, and I have 3 kids, and I have a nice guitar that I like to play. So I cannot really get rid of all that stuff, but I want to feel new. I want to get back a little bit in the time and feel that I'm doing something with my hands, and I have a lot of people around who are genuinely grateful to you. They're saying thank you.
okay, how much
you did
am I
something
ready to pay for that? I'm just thinking.
I think that's a similar rate as you would pay for the therapist, really.
So like 80 euro per hour.
I think
here
so.
in Amsterdam.
Yeah. So partly that can help solve the problem for people who really work in this industry, like because we can take this money and pay bigger salaries to the team who are actually doing this for a living. But I'm just joking. I think
So it sounds like Robin Hood.
in a way, but
you're
we're
saying-
helping as well, right? So we're not robbing you. We're not robbing the rich. We're not saying you're bad because you're rich, right? I'm a bit more right wing, you know that.
Yeah, I know. I'm completely left, right?
But we think it's a common good, and we actually had an example of this working with a really happy manager who's doing the emails and meetings all the week, and then he comes here, he serves the table, people say thank you.
Okay.
You like it was really nice.
So let's have a bet, right? So let's make another meeting at the end of this year and see how many more guys will do like that except this guy. And if you're gonna have like 10 times more, I'm gonna invest in this story then also. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
If you're gonna take your money.
That's a different question. That's a different question. Or I will open something similar to that. Right?
Yeah,
Like you will
exactly.
not
Because
take
I'm gonna tell all the secret. Yeah, I'm sure there will be interest on that site, and I even know the people, and some of them are in this room, who I can pitch this to, and they might say yes.
Okay. That's a good idea. Like so, since it's a personal, how it's called, therapist, right? So it should be covered by insurance.
By health insurance.
Okay, that can be.
We should repeat the questions, right?
Yeah. That's what I did now. That was a comment. That's what I did.
Yeah. So you see, there is an opportunity, and
you didn't sell it to me, but I'm sure there will be some people. I would just suggest let's wait for at least a few months more, because if you read in news, if you have time for that, it's a crisis coming. Right,
Yeah.
It's already here. Like
a lot of
every
engineers
week we
are
have
getting
big
fired
tech
right now.
laying off people.
Yeah.
So unlikely these people first thing they will come, So, but I believe like when economy going to be on up, that can be one of the ways to.
It's a
change
universal cure for middle-aged, well-paid, white-collar depression in a big city in a developed country.
I just got an idea. It can be a good way also, to meet new people. And, if you can be a barista and then maybe you can have, okay, that's my maybe thinking. It's a good pickup.
Well,
Think about that kind of integration with some applications.
We don't really appreciate that
No.
during the work, but everybody
But it
has.
happens, right?
Love happens in life. It
That's
doesn't
how
matter
this
where.
restaurant was open.
Exactly.
That's
That's true. Yeah.
okay. Nice. Guys, by the way, at the end of this interview or this chat, we will have questions. So if you can think about the questions, and then we will bring them.
Yep.
Before we go to question, I want to touch one more big topic where you also been trying or at least participating in building the platform.
Yeah.
And having a dream to have an ideal restaurant is a good dream. Even bigger dream to have a country where you would like to live in, right? And not so many countries are so well digitized and automated, and these countries usually have some other problems, right? But you participated somehow, I know, in some project around the, I don't know how to call it, digital, not government, but digital country, name it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what you can tell about that. If you cannot tell about this particular experience or a little bit, but then let's maybe think about how do you see such kind of projects, right? Are they feasible? Are they real?
They are, and I can't say that I've done a lot in that field, but you and I, we both come from the country, we both come from Belarus, and we've left some time ago. I do think we, both of us, still have a lot of personal and emotional connection to this country, and we both would want this country to do much better than it does right now.
You're making my comedy part really difficult now. I cannot make jokes about that.
And therefore I think we have some people in the room also from Belarus, and I think we share this, and we share the pain that we have now since 2020, that is now almost at its ultimate point, and I think it doesn't matter whether you have a restaurant or if you're a software engineer, or if you're a manager, or if you have the skills that can help your country do better, you should apply them. I did some work in this field, which I'm personally proud of, and I'm hoping that it will bear fruits. At a certain point, it doesn't seem very bright right now.
Okay, yeah.
But I definitely think that the work that I've done, my modest share of it, at least will help me sleep better, just myself, and hopefully will help our country as well at some point.
Can you tell a little bit more what you've been not you, but a little bit about the project itself, right?
Yeah, I've been a few projects. One of them was the data platform that collected data about the violence against the peaceful protests in 2020.
Yeah.
After the presidential election in Belarus. It is completely legal, but it doesn't matter anymore. But this is one of the parts that we did. We wanted to build a modern tool that would help to analyze this information and help people. So I did that. That was one of the things that I did, and in human terms, I think that was one of the best things that I think I've probably done in my life
So far. Yeah. But that was one of the components of this bigger platform, right?
Yeah, and it was just really for me, it was a side, let's say, activity that I participate in. But I know people who are spending still their whole life doing that, and I deeply respect them. I'm not one of them. I just did, as I said, a small part. But I think those people are probably in a way bigger than me in something, because they would probably have way more things that they can tell to their kids at some point. And I think we want that. All the people want that. All the people want to feel that I've done something in my life that was worth it. And if there was a moment in time where I did not bend and I did not look away when something wrong happened, I think those are the people that keep, they sleep better than the others. So yeah.
Do you follow how it's evolving right now, the platform?
Just the news, really. And some side.
And do you believe in such platform? Let's maybe think about the platform itself, right? What was it about? Like, what about election, about like violence tracking, right?
It was about the facts where the rights of people were,
violated,
brutally violated. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you wanna?
And it was also about how do we connect the people who need help with people who can give help, legally, psychologically, all that kind of stuff. So it's not just about storage of the data, but it was also about how to help people find help.
Okay. Guys, I think we're coming to the questions. Please raise your hand. I will repeat the question after you say it, right? And in this way, people who is now online and then later see online will be able to hear it then. So any questions? And if you will not raise hand, that would be very sad. So it will be our last time. So please speak up. Anybody? No, nobody. You. Okay, Vova, go.
How we see one word exit. Yeah? If you start something, you have to think about exit. It's very
So I'll just repeat the question now. So how do you see the exit from the restaurant business, right? Not from the life, right? So I think it's always because.
I can't think of myself as a serial entrepreneur. In a way, I really don't think about this right now. I want to do things differently, as the way I described. I really like to challenge it does sound like a buzzword, like the status quo in specific industries, and wherever I am, I'm trying to change things. And I think there was also a little bit of true in my corporate career, but I don't think about the exit right now. I don't think about selling selling the business or something like that right now. We are thinking about accepting investments for opening more locations and for the digital startup. And we are talking to some of the people who we actually met right here because they like the pancake and like the coffee and like the vibe. And they came here and said, how can we help you build more of those places? Or what is it that you want to do? And we said, well, we have this digital store. And they said, well, let us know what we can do for you. And those are the people who I'm hoping will be once at some point here at this side of the microphone, also telling their stories, because they're really interesting people. So I don't think about the exit right now, really. I'm thinking about how do we make a hybrid restaurant and digital business and actually give the opportunity to all our people to build a career and way of an interesting and fulfilling life by combining a simple work that gives you instant shots of dopamine and a bit more strategic work that you will know maybe will at some point bear fruits and bear the results, but you don't know right now. So that's the dream. Once we've done that, and if we reach the ceiling and there is nothing else that we can do there, and somebody comes in and say, I'm going to keep going the way, this way. But I've been working with investors in my previous field of study.
Private equity sharks.
Private equity mostly, yes. And I am still probably I shouldn't do this on the record, but I think when...
If you're going to come back to this previous career, think twice.
Yeah, I think when you're taking money from someone...
at the table,
it is always complicated, and sort of you always have to find a compromise in how much freedom making decisions you can give away for this money in return for a faster growth, right? Or being able to do something differently. And I think I'm at this young phase of the startup founder who still thinks very romantically about those things, and when I'm hoping that yes, we can do most of it ourselves, keeping our independence completely intact and being able to do whatever we want to do and being able to invest in strategical development where we think we should do, rather than running to investors and begging them to take some money out of the out of the profits and invest in them in something that maybe will not work. So there is no exit plan right now. We want to be more than one place, that's for sure. And we have a plan this year, hopefully, that we will be able to open another place in Netherlands.
In Amsterdam.
Yeah, for now in Amsterdam. And we also have a plan for this year that this platform that we're building, we should release MVP this year, and we should find, at least few of the first paying customers for this platform. So therefore, I'm going to different coffee places and brunch places around here, and basically doing small talk with people there, just checking if what we're doing is feasible or not. And so far they all say yes, of course, but they said that about the pancakes in the beginning as well. So we are very cautious about the moves we make, but we definitely will. This platform will definitely see the light, and we will definitely test it this year with the commercial customers as well, not just us, but some people who would want to do that. And I think maybe that business will be a good target for attracting money for the faster growth. Yeah.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, we have 2 more questions here, please.
Yeah, I really like to know more about some sensitive stuff like money.
Yeah.
And as far as I understood, you didn't have any investors so far.
No, that was basically...
Just to repeat the question, so basically you're wondering where the money coming from, right? Is it his own money, or like any investors participated in that, right?
Yeah.
And when this kind of business stay profitable?
If ever. That's
yeah.
I heard in your question, yeah.
Sure. No, there is no money other than ours in this business right now. So this is basically, I'm 34 right now.
Really?
Yeah. I look younger, yeah. At certain age, when you're bold, it starts to pay off.
And never gonna happen. Yes.
So basically about 10 years of not, I would say probably the worst, not the worst career in technology, some stock, and then my that grew because of the company that I used to work for, and my wife's career in advertisements, and her car, and my expensive watch, which also got sold. That's it, really. Yeah. So this is just the money that, like, it's completely our money
So
for now.
only bootstrapping, like any other outside money? Okay.
No, nothing at all right now.
Big bet.
And we wanted to do it like that because this is a big risk. And if you want to ask money for something that has a big risk, then the conditions that people will give you money for will be not the stuff that you would want to take. So you should do it only if you don't have any other option. We had an option that we can just do all in. We did all in. It seems fine. We are going. Therefore, in terms of profitability, it's we are now at we started in August of 2021, so it's about a year and a half. We became operationally profitable, I think, somewhere in the middle of this path, so 6 or 7 months after opening operationally. So that basically means we started earning enough money to pay salaries, rent, electricity, supplies.
Months over months, right? And it was stable, right?
No, not at all. And this is the big problem of this business as well. You can really try and do the best you can, but then November comes or February comes. And yeah.
But then you call a friend and we're bringing people in the restaurant on this nice...
Exactly, right. That's why we're here.
Till what, end of February, right? So.
It's January still.
Yes.
But January is actually also really bad. As I learned, I didn't know that before the January happened. But at the same time, you already have a team, you already have a contract, you have suppliers, you have the operations, so your cost is not really fluctuating that much as your revenue does. So therefore, I think we're not right now balancing on the edge of profitability, maybe 5%, 7%. It's still considered not really bad for this industry, but it's definitely far from being really feeling really safe and secure. Because here the problem is that your revenue grows, and we've been growing quite fast last year. So that's essentially was the first year that we operated after the lockdown, and it was basically doubling or the revenue every quarter. The turnover. The problem though is that you have to adapt your cost as well, and the biggest cost component is labor. So you have to really grow your team, and therefore the moment you start making a bit more turnover, you also have to increase your cost. And the whole game is about balancing those two things.
Yeah, that's how you got the idea about the startup when people come and working for you, paying you, right?
Exactly.
At this moment,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Okay.
Also because of that.
Yeah, that's how it is. Yeah.
Yeah, the last question.
Yeah.
Did you have any education or courses
Stop it. Just the question. I don't know. Any education or what?
before you start this business? I mean,
So the question was, have you been into school and maybe something more before you start?
Yeah.
And maybe specific education. That's what you mean, right? Restaurant. Yeah.
No. I'm, as I said, I have an education as a mathematician and of the system, like the diploma says system programming, which actually means a low-level software development. So low-level means
Embedded.
yeah. I don't really know if it means anything to people here, but this is basically the
C++ assembler.
assembler
Yeah.
and really heavy computations that you would sometimes do indeed on the embedded devices. So my job was to, like, I've been doing the projects that would, for instance, somewhere in 2010, make the first models of the iPhone, transform some of the visual live streaming, or analyze the music and find mistakes in someone singing. And doing this on the embedded device, it's always a challenge because it has less computational power, so you have to use a bit different tools for this. And this is basically my education and something that I've been doing as a software engineer before I went on to meetings and emails and stuff like
Probably it
that.
doesn't help you to flip pancakes, but
You kind of understand why you have to flip the pancake.
okay.
Yeah, and otherwise, no, really not. It was basically the experience of us being on the other side, being the guest in the
You
in
spent
the
quite some
restaurant.
time in restaurants
spent
and
quite
bars.
some
That's
time in the
where I've
restaurants.
seen you mostly,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah. So I've been through this phase of life where I had probably
no girlfriend.
no girlfriend and a bit more money than I needed.
Yeah, so
And then you start indulging yourself in wine that is more expensive than the previous wine, and go into a restaurant that is like if you start to think that, well, this is basically the joy of life. I've been there, and I sort of understand how I want to be feeling in the restaurant. And this is exactly the same similar experience that my wife had. So we're building this back on this experience rather than of the experience of the restaurant owners or restaurant business people.
did you have any advisors from this sphere?
Yeah, they advise us
Tim,
not.
I remember your question, so we'll finish here. So
Yeah, no worries, no worries. We really want this to be interactive. We want questions
Yeah,
because
that's
otherwise
good.
it doesn't make sense. You can watch this, online. We did have advisors experienced in this field who advised us very strongly not to do it. Yeah, well, this is basically the
Actually, good
advice.
advice, right?
This is the advice I would give right now to people, if they would ask me whether they should open the restaurant or not. And the thing is, we didn't follow this advice, and I don't regret about this. But the thing is, you should only do this if nobody can convince you not to do that. That's the only situation where you need to open the restaurant, I think. Because all the things that they are saying about the hard work and sweat and really, difficulties with building a financially profitable model, they're all true. So there are ways to do it, and there are ways to do it successfully. But I think you need to go all in, and you really need to want it. And if you really want it, then it doesn't matter what everybody else says. You're going to go and do it. And that's what we did. And we don't regret about that. But people did tell us not to do that. They asked me what kind of job I have. They asked me how much money I make per month. And then they said, what's wrong with you?
Hire
then they
therapist,
said,
right?
and then they said,
Instead.
okay, you can do it, but never quit your job. because then you have this permanent Dutch contract, you know, and you can just do nothing there, and nobody can fire you anyways, and you have a
They
stable
can now, right? It's crisis came. So.
yeah, the right-wing people come. So this is basically the advice we had from the people here in Netherlands who have experience doing this. And that's the same advice that I would give right now to people who want to open the place. And if they don't listen to me, then that's completely fine. They are on the right track. They should do it. And if they listen to me, and if they believe me that they shouldn't do it, then they shouldn't do it.
You're very good in perceiving people. So we're just looking straight to the eyes, right? And that's okay. Just to summarize your long answer. So you said that was bootstrapping. So out of classical 3F, it was fools, friends, and family. That was family and a little bit fools, as you explained, right?
Yeah.
Then you did have consulting, some mentor, right?
Yeah.
And he said you not to do that, but jokes aside, he helped you somehow, right? He gave you some
He did help us a lot.
suggestions.
We found a guy who's actually a consultant in this field. He's Dutch. His name is Jasper. And he also is an owner of a few restaurants himself. So he's doing the consulting, but he's also an owner of the business. So he kind of has a hands-on experience. And he's been helping us finding this location, negotiating the deal, building a business plan, building a presentation for the municipality. Because the municipality doesn't give you a license if you don't make a business plan and you don't convince them that you can actually pull it off. So we did all of
Your
that.
charisma didn't work in this case.
There is no charisma there.
That's
You
true,
just
that's
need
true,
to
that's
put
true, yes.
something on paper and send an email. So he helped us a lot with this, and along the way he was basically gently saying, like, you know, like they sometimes speak with the emotionally unstable people, you need to be calm. He was telling us, well, think about this, think about that, don't quit your job, blah 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 blah. And we said, it's all gonna be fine, and it is fine. But then we had other people who are currently helping us with the accounting and legal. And we came to them and we met the founder of this accounting firm, and we said, we want to be a client, we've heard you're good. And he said, yeah, we're good, what are you going to do? And we said, we want to open the restaurant. And he's like, okay, what kind of job you have? Contract? And you don't, and then he was like, do you really have to do that? Is somebody holding the gun against your head? And I was like, no, I want to do that, we think it's going to be good. And he said, well, there are easier ways to make money right now, including the stuff that you currently do. You don't have to do anything. And well, we were at the point where we said we just want it. We didn't listen to anyone.
Okay. Good. Dima?
Yeah, I actually have 2 questions on this financial topic.
Yeah.
Can you speak up a little bit so we can hear you?
So, given the current revenue and the trend,
Yeah.
how many years it would take you to afford a really fancy car, think like Ferrari levels?
So
Is it like more like 3 years or 300?
assuming he will cover this 200K, right? First. Because with this attitude, yeah, let's do it. He can buy tomorrow, right? So.
That's a tricky question, because if we
So we will repeat the question. How long will it take you to buy a really fancy car, right? Yeah.
So 2 things. One, if we think that we're just gonna keep doing one cafe and nothing at all, and we're just gonna keep doing what we're doing, then yeah, well, it's gonna be a lot of years. I don't think we can do it in a lifetime. But we won't just stay on doing the stuff that we're doing, right? Therefore, my thinking, if you, what is the fancy car price? 300K, 400K, $500,000? $500,000. So, and then it's not going to be like your lost money, right? It's just, you need to have a few millions and then you spend $500,000. So it doesn't really make it become a problem for you.
Like weekend car.
I don't think it will take me longer than it would have taken me back in my corporate job. So I think it's if we're successful with this idea that we have, and with the mission that we have, then I think maybe 5, 7, 10 years. The other problem though is I don't need it anymore. I used to need it. I mean the car, and I'm not trying to.
What you really want, right? So
Frankly speaking, I stopped wanting expensive things before we opened this place. Not because we opened this place, but before. And I think this place is basically my testament to not wanting expensive things anymore, because I just spend all the money I could have spent for the expensive things. And it's a testament of saying I value other things right now, right? Maybe I will come back.
There's no way back, man. So
I hope not, really, because as I said, I feel more satisfied right now than I used to feel back then. So hopefully it will never come to the place where I need expensive car, like a fancy car, right? Maybe a good car. We have a parking space in our apartment, which we don't use. So in Amsterdam, yes.
you can rent it and some revenue.
Yeah. So and I really like it because I had one car in my life. It was Volkswagen. Back when I was a student, it was my first money that I made on the second year of university, and I bought myself this Volkswagen Golf, like a big trunk where I can put my snowboards and go to snowboarding with my friends. And then I moved to Netherlands basically when I was 2014, 26, 25, 26, 2013, 2014. So I sold my first car and I never had a car afterwards. And back when I had money for this fancy car, I just happened to meet my wife. And it's not like I spent all the money on my wife, but this whole thing started, right?
She's here.
She's watching.
Good thing we don't see chat now, right? So
Yeah.